Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I got Scott Allen here. And the reason I wanted Scott to talk because in my journey of getting to be aware of ETs and talk to ETs, Scott was one of the first people that came into my awareness where he was channeling Lemurians and ETs. And I went, what?
What?
What? Really? What? And a lot of people have come to you and said, was I just abducted? Had a reading. And then you've had a couple of people on your channel that talk about ET stuff. So I wanted to bring you on so that you can share what you know about that experience and how you connect with your ET guides, or are they guides? Are they just people that say, "Hey, I'll give you some information"?
I mean, sense.
What do you feel?
I don't sense that they're guides. I sense one of the reasons I believe, and what I sense is that they are living entities.
Hmm.
So, but they have such knowledge and brain function that they almost seem like they're angelic because
Okay.
they use so much of their brain and to be able to travel interdimensionally and whatnot, that it almost sense like they are spirit, like you're channeling a spirit. You can get information from them. So for me per se, um, I need to have that connection made before any kind of channeling would happen. It just doesn't work that way for me, where I can just go sit in the couch instead of watching the football game, sit in the couch and say, hey, got some info for me. They have to come into my realm. I have to think about it. And then I was like, I'll see a vision or something like, oh, there's one here that wants to say something or whatever.
Hmm.
So that's how that process works. So I've always been interested, for extraterrestrials, believe they're real, love Star Trek and all that,
Yeah.
Star Wars, all that sci-fi stuff.
Right.
So to go back, I guess it was like June of 2020, I met Kim Song, and I had her on my channel. And she had no recollection of her like first 6 years. None, zero. No parents, no nothing. So she came to me, she found me, and
Keep talking. Keep talking.
I never channeled or read anything about extraterrestrials. So then she knew she had to talk to me though. And I helped her understand and what experience she had, because she wanted to know what happened to her. And I was getting this information about seeing her abducted, experimented on, and Kim has two limbs missing. They took her limbs surgically. So this was back in, gosh, when would it be? 50s, late 50s, 60s.
Mhm.
Her limbs that are missing are so surgically precise, it would be even hard to amputate today, because
Wow.
the connective tissue is even connected. It isn't like it's cut off. The According to the exam she's had, it's like um, the bone or the muscle tissue and the all the vessels and everything, they're
The
connected.
tendons. Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
is connected where it's come off. It isn't just like cut off and what do you want to call it? Use your
Cauterized or
cauterized, right? It's not cauterized. Everything's connected from what they found, and it's so precise where. And she just wanted information about her past. Well, she has extraterrestrials that have, for her being abducted and losing all her memory and everything, she was given a good life and been guided. Smart lady, she's done business and whatnot, but she's had a good life. Like per se, what are the odds of a two-limb amputee, little 6-year-old, being adopted from Seoul, Korea, by an American couple? What are the odds? Who would go out and want to adopt, you know, someone with disabilities? It would be really
Right.
difficult. She was adopted within a few months,
Hmm.
and that's her first memory, is it being in an adoption agency. So that was my first connection with getting information for someone. And then all of a sudden, we meet Beth, one of our subs. So I have a reading with her. She wants information, what's going on with me. I mean, she already kind of knew, but I helped her through this. So I'm getting these connections, these visions about extraterrestrials. And by the way, they tell me they don't like alien because they're not alien, they're entities. They'd rather be
Hmm.
called an entity or an extraterrestrial. That's my sense. It's kind of like every time I hear aliens, it kind of goes, ugh.
Yeah.
But they're an entity. They'd rather be called an entity or whatever, or extraterrestrial. But anyway, so I help her. Well, then all of a sudden I get a request for a reading from Virgil. Excellent artist, Native American from, I think it's New Mexico area. I keep forgetting. And then he actually do this for me. Bring this up quick. Virgil drew this for me
Oh, wow.
because I asked him, because it came in one day. You see that? It's kind
Yeah.
of like an ancient extraterrestrial. And then all the writing on there is extraterrestrial writing.
Wow.
It's like, what is,
Wow.
this is what came through to him, from him, when he thought about ancient me.
Yeah.
Because it just came in one day. I have his number. We text once in a while, or whatever. And
Wow.
it just came in my mind. I'm like, I'm just cruising along at work, and I go, it just popped in my head. That's how it works. And I'm like, Virgil can sense who a person is and draw it just by thought of what kind of ancient extraterrestrial they are. So I just text him like, have you ever thought about a person and drawn what you've seen? He goes, no, I never tried. And all of a sudden, like 15 minutes later, he goes, I just got a vision of who you are.
Hmm.
And he goes, when I get time, I will draw that for you.
Wow.
so he
Wow.
so he drew one for Beth. I think he drew one for Andrea too. I don't know if she's got it or not, but I mean, he's a busy guy. He's getting
Yeah.
contracts here and there and
Oh, I
classes
bet.
for artists, but he kind of wanted to help. Well, I seen a vision of who's guiding him. He's intuitive, psychic, and he's got telepathy powers. But he has an extraterrestrial that's guiding him. I could see that one.
Hmm.
It feels like an actual extraterrestrial. And he's also got like Native American family members that are up there guiding him too. So he gets all this inspiration from his work. And if you go to like virgilortiz.com, you can see his work.
Right.
So anyway, and then that branched off into, I mean, it was a process because that led me in. Andrea, it's like how I met you. I found you on YouTube and I found this person on YouTube. So
Right. Right.
Andrea had Bob on. So that led me into getting a reading with Bob. So he brought in like, oh, you had a connection with Palladians back in Mesopotamia. And I've been in, back in my other life, I was in Egypt, during the pyramids were already built, he said. And so that led me into more. I always wanted to get a past life regression. So I ended up finding someone to do a past life regression. And it brought me to an extraterrestrial life I had. And I'm making these connections and
Right.
kind of remembering things. And I had the ability to channel. So I just, one day, since I'm doing these things, I just start asking, okay, if I have these connections, I just keep asking spirit, if I have these connections, show me, come in, can I channel, channel you, get some information. So I've channeled a couple. My latest extraterrestrial channeling was the connection. It didn't feel like she was living yet. It felt like the soul of the person I was supposedly in love with in a past life as an extraterrestrial in a different life. And we were in, went to a water planet and lived out our days. I seen like extraterrestrials with webbed feet, and gills, so we could almost like mermaids kind of thing.
Yeah.
You have to think
Yeah.
they're mermaids. So I seen all that visually. All these, and the fish in this place were like more colorful than you can ever see. It was almost like heavenly because they were just so beautiful. You just
Right.
So I was showing this, this going into this underground city underwater, but getting there, you see all these entities swimming around, and the fish, it just like the colors were just unbelievable, reds and yellows and oranges. It it felt magical, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I asked, since I had this connection, bring in some information. So this connection said yes, brought it in. But that one felt more like she's been gone. So it's like the soul energy of that spirit I was with. But the other ones I connected to felt real. And they visually showed me what they look like. Um, there is one currently that I said on my channelings that it looks like Aquaman, Jason Momoa. That's the visual they gave me. Very muscular. I've never visually seen any extraterrestrial that's been overweight. They all look muscular, thin. I sense that they have a vegetarian diet. And then I was also told like their skin is kind of like a photosynthesis kind of. They take energy from the universe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they don't really need that meat protein and whatnot. So it's like that's how they energize, and use, as far as what I'm told. I've never I,
Right.
don't- I don't sense any meat eating protein needed. It's like they love their other entities that are alive. They would never eat.
Right.
So I keep asking more information. I wonder, if there's an industrial complex, where they're making things or whatnot, but I don't really sense that. It's kind of like it's more mentally fabricated because
Mm.
I don't really see them fixing things and working on things and creating
Yeah.
things. It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's just known. It's really weird. So that's how my progression kind of worked. I just kept asking, and every one of my channelings is more about what the God Jesus love is all about. They want us to progress. They want us to thrive. They want us to open up to the universe.
Mhm.
I don't really sense they care about our politics. They worry about us. Because I asked every channeling I've done, it was nothing about political. It's all about, opening up to the universe, loving yourself, loving thy neighbor.
Yeah.
It's all loving creation energy. So to me, it feels like they coincide with spirit, and
Yeah.
our guides and the angels. It's everything about our highest good. And
Right.
I mean, we've heard that that they don't want nuclear war. They would stop the buttons from going and all that. And we've done many channelings with Andrea, or sessions with Andrea on mysteries, and we've gotten those.
Mhm.
They've helped with like Chernobyl incident.
Right.
I visually seen this huge air ship absorbing, the energy, bad energy, that's was escaping there to try to help as best they can.
It's kind of like a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, that's what it kind of looks like.
Yeah.
It's shown like energy. like
Yeah.
waves, like it looks like a pyramid. It's like from the
Oh.
from the ship. I was showing it. It looks like a pyramid of waves, and it was just taking that bad nuclear energy, whatever they could, to
Hmm.
lessen the effects. Chernobyl back then.
Have you asked them why they are concerned with this planet,
It's their planet.
their planet?
It's ours.
So it goes back to star seeds.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
connected. They've been here. We've been here. We go. We may have a. Not everyone's had an extraterrestrial life. Many
Hmm.
are more solely grounded to Earth. Um, but it's it's kind of hard to explain. But it's on a soul level. It's their planet. I
Right.
don't I don't sense like extraterrestrials have inhabited this planet like we are now,
Hmm.
but it's kind of like through DNA manipulation we are them. That kind of.
Right.
I don't
Right. Right.
I don't get that we are them, but through manipulation of the DNA we are them.
Right.
You understand?
Well,
that's what I
yeah.
that's what I
I
sense.
mean, it makes so much. Okay, it's so easy to understand, yet so hard to understand
Yes, it is.
because of what we have been programmed to believe from
Right.
from when I went to school. I mean, this is my interpretation, from what I was taught in school, what the creation was, um, according to Genesis in the Bible, the
Mhm,
white man's version. And then you look at the Hopi version, which I talk about on my channel,
mhm.
um, that is mind blowing to me because they talk about Lemuria, they talk about Atlantis, that they're from there, and
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
not from there, but they're ancients. They have a relationship with them, and I would have to go back and reread
That's
that
what I sense.
section. Yeah,
Because
and
the ancient Native Americans, what I sense, that there is that connection with spirit
mhm,
and extraterrestrials, with their rituals, their dances, and how they, would treat
yeah,
treat the passed on loved ones, to transition, with those rituals. And I think they were seeing them. They were in,
sure,
I think they were. I sense that.
yeah. I mean, everything I've read has said exactly that. Yeah, that
There's
they
writing.
tap into them
You're right.
as 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 we in the metaphysical community on this little planet called YouTube, as we tap into our guides and angels and spirits, the shamans have been tapping into this for hundreds and thousands, tens of thousands of years. So yeah, but with the industrial revolution and just in the last 100 years, we kind of shut that off, and now we're reopening that. I think with the age of Aquarius, becoming the energy is presenting itself to us so that more and more of us can tap in
Yeah.
and see things like what you're seeing.
Yeah. It's like it's all visual, you know, like with any reader or whatever, what we say, we can't prove it, you know. We just have to believe, we haven't been had true disclosure yet. They haven't walked down the street,
Right,
But
right,
through our visions, it's all visual. They show me a picture of what this one looks like, or give me that okay to channel, messages, or it's like seeing a movie or seeing, you know,
yeah,
giving a memory.
yeah,
So, that's all we can do is just stay in our belief and love and put out the message. But many, many
right,
more are putting out the message. So it's like drip,
and
drip, drip, drip until full
yeah.
disclosure.
So
raise
there
the
was a couple
vibration.
of things that you said right there. We can't prove it. True, we can't prove it. However, more and more people are saying the same thing.
Right.
So,
The drip,
okay,
like I said,
so
the drip,
that's
drip,
that's
drip,
kind.
drip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of proof. The other thing that you said that struck out at me that I think is super important is you ask them permission if you can give out this information.
Right.
Um, I think that's hugely important in all the work that we do. Um, and I guess this goes towards the newer people. However, I tend to forget this as well. Not to ask, I tend not to ask for permission. Not, I don't tend to, but sometimes I will do something without asking for permission. And I find that as a little bit of a violation
Hmm.
of whatever galactic code there is, tapping into spirit. That's just a little, you have to ask permission.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I believe
um,
too. Ask permission and thank you and be blessed. That kind of thing.
yeah.
Oh, I forgot my only own experience. Um, there was well, I've never seen or recognized that I've seen, a UFO, anything weird like that. But I was asking also, since I've had all these experiences and awakenings, I asked my own experience. And I did have an experience like 14 months ago where I know something was really weird, and I know I repeated at least 2 hours of my life.
Hmm.
I was continually asking, and something weird happened. And I know it wasn't a dream, and it wasn't astral traveling. So I woke up, I dozed off on the couch. I went to bed about 11 something, and I woke up at like 3 something in the morning. Had to go to the bathroom. I went back to bed, and I looked at the clock, and it was about when I really looked at the clock, there was something about 1 o'clock in the morning. Right? I just knew there was something about 1 o'clock. And then I woke up again at 3 something in the morning and had to go to the bathroom. And I'm just like having this deja vu thing, right? And I was tired. I'm like, why am I?
Hmm.
I'm like, what the heck just happened? Because I'm like, I already did this. I already went to the bathroom at 3 in the morning. So I go to the bathroom, I come back out, and there's this white light coming through my bedroom window above the bed. And I'm like, that's not the moon. Because this is like bright white light. The moon, you'll see a little bit through the shades. I had
Hmm.
the curtains closed. This is bright white light coming through the window. I'm like, wow. And I wish I was thinking quick enough to run outside or just open the curtains with my cell phone, but
Yeah,
but I was weirded out because I was kind of dazed, and I was like,
sure.
what's going on? So I looked out the other window and didn't really see anything except a lot of light. So I never looked out the window. I didn't want to wake up my lady either because I thought if I crawled over her to look out the window, I thought I didn't want to wake her up. But I knew I had an experience, and it was something weird. I didn't remember, but it's just like I knew there was something about 1 in the morning and 3 in the morning, and I knew with the deja vu thing, I got up to go to the bathroom twice. I'm like, what? It was so weird. Some more proof. The next day, when I woke up 2 hours later, go to get ready for work. I was whooped. It felt like I just finished a marathon. My energy was drained. It was like, oh. So there was an energy still hanging around. So when I drive for work, it's a refrigerator truck, and it's got the refrigerator unit to keep it cool, and it's got this keypad. And every once in a while, especially when it's cold or too hot, it'll trip. So you have to reset it. This never happens. That day, it tripped 6 times. I had to reset this unit 6 times. It just it wouldn't work. I had
Yeah.
so much energy emitting, or there was spirit energy around me or something. And also my cell phone would not charge. I had it plugged in, and it just kept draining.
Wow.
And probably, so I take off like it's 6:30 in the morning. I think by about 1 o'clock, everything got normal. Everything felt kind of normal. The refrigerator unit was working, but there was something that happened to me. So I also asked Debbie and Andrea to do a quick read. I didn't tell them a thing. I just go, throw a couple cards. What happened to me last night? Something weird happened. I don't know if it was a dream, whatever. First thing Andrea goes, I think you were abducted or had some kind of extraterrestrial experience. That was her first thing she said. I didn't ask. I just asked her what happened to me last night. Was I dreaming? That's the first thing she said. And then Debbie said the same thing, in a different way or whatever, and she goes, like she was getting like maybe an emperor or something coming through,
Hmm.
and then the Knight of Wands, extra energy, like the Fool coming up, taking a transition journey. So I don't know if it was my body or just my soul, but
Wow.
it was some kind of upgrade or release.
And you came back with your arms. That's awesome.
That is a good thing.
Woof.
So
So here's something.
there was a super connection happened there. I mean,
Yeah.
you just know, especially with a deja vu thing. And I'm like, I know I repeated 2 hours somehow, or I
Yeah.
left and came back at the same time, that kind of thing, or I had an extra 2 hours, something like that.
Hmm.
But it was the exact same time. It was like 3:13 or something like that. I remember seeing the clock twice at 3:13. So it's like I came back at the same time, kind of thing. But
Right.
it felt like 2 to 3 hours that
Right.
something went on. So, but I keep asking for more, and it hasn't happened yet. So,
Well, here's something. I think that you have to keep asking for more. So someone was telling me that I had a Palladian guide around me,
mhm.
and I go, okay, um, and that the Palladian guide was fairly quiet. So I kept asking, hey, if you want to show up, if you want to show me something, talk to me, let me know. Don't scare me, just talk to me.
Mhm.
Late at night, I hear this chattering light language type stuff from my kitchen. And
Wow.
I'm like, oh shit. Oops. Well,
Whoops.
that's what I said.
Yeah.
and and I go, okay, this is a little freaky. This is scary. It immediately switched to Johnny Cash singing in my kitchen. And I'm like, what? I get up and I go in there, and my phone has flipped on to one of the music stations, and Johnny Cash is singing One. And I'm like, weird, weird, weird. The next day, Scott, because we're talking to you, next day, you channel Johnny Cash and you put it on YouTube.
Isn't
And
that
I'm like,
crazy? There's some synchronicity there.
a
Well,
lot of
I actually
synchronicity.
probably did it the day, because I didn't put it up for a day or two. So it's
Yeah.
probably actually the day it happened to you.
Yeah. I mean, I was just, I'm scrolling through and I see that and I go, what? So
Isn't that
the
crazy?
veil is thinning, whatever that veil is, the energy is shifting. And we talk about the shifting energies in another video. Certain astrologers talk about it. It is shifting. We are becoming more aware. Um, I think we need to ask multiple times, stay in love and gratitude,
Yeah.
and stay out of fear.
Yeah. And out of
Yeah.
ego. People do,
Yeah.
but those are the main core. People do get off track. Things happen. You
Yeah.
know, upset with family, now's the time with coronavirus. You could have worries of family members of someone close that contracted the virus, get in the hospital. We
Sure.
need to get our vibrations down and worry. It's always a good thing to keep putting that out about love and light energy, staying out of
Right.
fear and staying out of ego.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all that is just material, you know.
And when you talk about the um, galactic beings that you channel, they're not concerned with the fear of our day-to-day politics at all. It doesn't do anything for us, but
No,
yet we get so caught up in it. And because we think it's important to know the current news, but in the grand scheme of things, it may not be all what we think it is that we need to know. We probably don't.
no. So
Yeah.
it's like even with your own self, your memories from your childhood, middle age, whatever, you only remember the good things or the
Right.
most important parts.
Right.
It's even like if you would tap into a past loved one's energy, they're not going to show you the bad times or the daily. It's like, I was in the military. Hey, remember the time we went camping? We'd pack up the old Suburban or whatever. We go camping, and just the main parts.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, w- how many days and hours are in a person's life of 90 years? I've never figured out. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dailies.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
The
It,
grand
it
scheme
it's
of
just
your dailies is irrelevant.
right.
You create your memories, your existence with your family, friends, if you have children, your
Hmm.
connections, and that's what's important. Your
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah.
Now we have our relationships with them, but that was getting that sense too that you need to be in that good space in your own life to make that connection, to have these
Yeah.
positive experiences. And that's what I think they
And
are.
I think that that's just coming back to just keeping our vibrational energy high and not getting sucked into a lot of the negativity that is around us, and we go searching it out like the news. You don't need to search that out. Stay in the higher vibration, walking on the earth,
Mhm.
walking by a river in the forest, and things
Yeah.
like that. So
But
yeah.
it is interesting topics though. We can delve into it, but release it.
Yeah.
Once a
Right.
month, just
Right.
release it.
But I think this new galactic energy that's been around forever
Oh yeah.
and then kind of quiet in a way, and now it just seems like it's resurfacing in a big way. And maybe it's just the circles that I'm walking in, but I don't feel like it is. I feel like it's so much more and bigger. So it's
Yeah,
fascinating.
there's more and more sightings
And
coming up.
it's awesome that you can tap in like you do.
Yeah, yeah,
So
not
when
always, but I ask.
yeah,
I
yeah,
ask at certain times, but yeah,
cool.
it they feel like a love light energy, like
Yeah,
like spirit. So yeah. So
awesome.
I grabbed a couple cards for you. You said Palladian.
Uh-oh.
We'll see.
Did
But
you ask? Did you ask? Oh,
when you were
Mystic Martian.
the Mystic Martian Oracle that I got the other day. Um,
Yes, I did
when you
ask.
were talking about
Please.
your Palladian energy, but we're on here. But here
Yeah.
I kind of sense this is your shamanism ways, the alchemy,
Uh-huh.
philosophers, and then I got using love light vibration. We got the air element, more philosophy.
Yeah.
But then
Awesome.
I didn't get Palladium. I got Andromedans, and
Oh, yeah.
Andromedan energy, which says here free will and manifestation. So a lot of spirit
Nice.
work these first two are a lot of spirit work for you,
Yeah.
you know, with the air and
Yeah.
the alchemy. It feels
Right.
like shamanism feelings and down to
Hmm.
earth. Those are three good cards. I didn't like the Pleiades one didn't come out. It came out Andromeda, but
Yeah.
they're very. It could be from another time.
Sure. Sure.
So, on the bottom of the deck, I have
I don't think you should be locked in to one
no.
thing. If somebody says something to you, just open up to it and see what shows up. And I don't know, it could be something totally different that you
Yeah.
see. But yeah,
But my
awesome.
senses from my experiences here that I've delved into to try to learn more, I sense connections with Palladians and Andromedans. Other ones,
Hmm.
I don't really. I sense they're around. It's like the other day, I never heard of the cat ones, Lyrans.
Yeah,
Supposedly they exist, and I've never sensed them.
right. Well, and I think when it's not in your awareness, then how do you sense them if if you don't even know that they're around? But as soon as you kind of know that there's other things around, they come in easier to you. You have a you
Possibly.
have an easier chance to sense them, I think.
I think it's more of a past life feeling where you've been.
Yeah.
Because I did, I, like I said, I feel it's like you might like Star Trek, right? But another person doesn't. It's kind of like what you resonate with, and you feel it. It's like, oh,
Right.
if you sense a greater feeling of Pleiades or the Andromedan system or whatever, just go with it because that's
Yeah.
your internal instincts. But you read about Lyrans and then see a picture of what possibly could be a cat-like extraterrestrial, and you go, huh? You
Yeah.
probably never had a past life connection or met with these possibly, to connect with.
Mm, yeah.
So that's why I sense with that. But
Yeah.
here's that I mean I do sense I must have had interactions with reptilians. I sense that part of it, part of them,
Hmm.
and little grays. I sense with them, but like Lyrans, no, or even like they say there's praying mantis types that look like insects.
Yeah.
I don't sense any of them. So it may be the connections I've made in other lives or whatever. I did
Sure.
none of them came in my mind, or visual.
Mm,
Or
yeah.
no, I can't give any information on those if I don't sense
Yeah.
them. So, but it's out there in the stratosphere that cat-like ones exist or praying mantis insect ones exist. So,
Yeah.
but I can't give any information on that if I don't sense it.
Fish ones exist too.
Oh, fishy ones? Hmm.
Yeah. Fish ones exist.
Well, I did sense those ones like, because
Yes, you did.
I got the hit of, Waterworld.
Yeah.
Remember with Jim, Costner?
Yeah.
You know, because that was the reference I was getting, because they always use
Yeah.
the references to movies or whatever, so, when I was seeing this, I'm like, "Oh, Waterworld." They showed me that movie, Kevin Costner,
Yeah.
Waterworld, the fins, so that's
Yeah.
reference thing, and I was like, "Oh, okay, there's" basically extraterrestrial mermaids.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Awesome. Hey, Scott, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you
Thank you
bet.
for doing this. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks, Annie.
yeah. All right.
Let 'em know.
Everybody, thank you all. We'll see you soon.
Live long.